It was a quiet Sunday morning. The sky outside was soft and grey, and the air smelled like rain. Jessica sat by the window with a warm cup of tea in her hands. She looked out at the street, watching the leaves fall slowly from the trees. The house was peaceful. No more noise, no more lies, just silence. And for the first time, it didn't feel empty. It felt calm. She reached into the drawer beside her and pulled out the last thing she had kept from Marcus, a small photo. It was from their early days when they had just moved into the house. They were both smiling, young, hopeful, still believing that love could fix everything. Jessica looked at the photo for a long time. Then she whispered, "I forgive you." Not because he deserved it, but because she needed it, to let go, to stop carrying the weight of someone else's choices. She placed the photo back into the drawer and closed it gently. Then she opened her laptop. A new blog post. She wrote, "This is not the story I thought I'd be telling. I thought love would be simple. I thought forever meant forever. But sometimes people break you." And the lipstick was bright red, too red, like it had something to prove. Emily stood in the laundry room, frozen, her fingers brushing the collar of her husband's white shirt. That lipstick mark, smudged and careless, wasn't hers. She hadn't worn lipstick in weeks, maybe months, maybe since before things got weird between them. Her stomach twisted, but her face stayed calm, practiced. This wasn't the first time something felt off with Daniel. He had been distant lately, coming home later, distracted, overly kind one minute and cold the next. But this was the first real sign. Not a feeling, proof. Daniel was dead, 3 days in the ground. The funeral still echoed in her chest like a dull bruise. And now, standing alone in their quiet house, the shirt whispered a truth she hadn't seen when he was alive. Emily's hands trembled as she held the shirt tighter, pressing the collar to her nose, half hoping the smell would explain it away. Maybe it was makeup from hugging someone at work. Maybe it got there at the hospital. Maybe, but it didn't smell like her husband. It smelled like someone else. Cheap perfume, not familiar, not innocent. A soft knock at the door broke her spiral. It was her mother-in-law, Judith, stern, elegant, always watching. She let herself in, as usual. "I brought you something," she said, holding out an envelope. "Daniel left this for you before he died." Emily blinked. "He left something? For me?" Judith nodded, but her face was unreadable. "Said you'd need it after the funeral." Emily took the envelope with slow hands. It was thick, heavy. Her name was written on it in Daniel's handwriting. She felt a lump rise in her throat. He hadn't left her a note before the hospital. No final goodbye, no voice message, nothing. But now this. Judith turned to leave. "Read it when you're ready, but don't wait too long." The door closed behind her. Emily stood still, the shirt still in her hand, the envelope now resting on the table like a loaded gun. Her mind spun. Lipstick on his collar, a secret letter, a mother-in-law with secrets of her own. None of it made sense. She sat down slowly, the grief and confusion mixing like oil and water. Maybe she didn't know the man she buried. Maybe he had more secrets than she ever imagined. And maybe the worst betrayal wasn't what he did while he was alive. Maybe it was what he planned to take with him to the grave. Zrania, they leave you without answers. Still, even in the pain, you can find strength. Even in the betrayal, you can find yourself again. I did, and I hope you do too. She hit publish and leaned back in her chair. The past was behind her now. She had no more questions, no more what-ifs, just a quiet heart and a future she would build on her own terms. It wasn't the life she planned, but it was hers, and that was enough. Emily Monroe used to believe in happy endings. She believed in slow mornings with coffee, laughter after dinner, and in her husband's hand resting gently on her back when they walked through crowds. She believed in forever. She met Daniel when she was just 22, working as a nurse's aide at a hospital in Atlanta. He was older by 6 years, already a doctor in residency. He made her laugh, asked real questions, and always paid attention. He didn't come with flowers or grand gestures. Instead, he brought her a sandwich one day after a long shift. It was her favorite, even though she had never told him what she liked. That was Daniel. Quiet, thoughtful, and sharp. They dated for a year, got married the next, and moved into a small house that slowly became a home. He kept working long hours at the hospital, but he always made time for her, at least in the beginning. The first few years were good. Emily took nursing school more seriously with Daniel's encouragement. He helped her study, cheered when she got her degree, and supported her when she landed her first real job. She felt seen, loved, safe, but slowly, things began to shift. Daniel grew quieter. He started staying late more often. At first, Emily believed him. Hospitals were tough, doctors were overworked, but the distance between them kept growing. He stopped noticing the little things, forgot what she liked, didn't ask about her day. She'd talk at dinner, and he'd nod while scrolling on his phone. She told herself it was just stress, life. They were both busy, tired, and trying their best. But deep down, something inside her started to ache. They tried to have a baby, but after 2 miscarriages, Emily started shutting down too. She blamed herself, though the doctors told her not to. Daniel never said much about it. He just got quieter. Then came the cancer. Daniel's diagnosis hit like a truck. One moment he had a cough, the next he was in surgery, and then chemo. It happened fast, too fast. Emily quit her job to take care of him. She cooked meals he barely touched, sat with him during treatment, held his hand when he cried in his sleep. She bathed him, fed him, comforted him, and still, he didn't talk. He thanked her sometimes, but even those words felt distant. When he passed, it was quiet, peaceful, the nurses said. But for Emily, it was like the ground opened up beneath her. She had spent the last few years holding everything together, and now there was nothing left to hold. After the funeral, the house felt too quiet. Their bedrooms smelled like medicine and sadness. She couldn't sleep there. She moved to the guest room instead. Judith, Daniel's mother, didn't cry at the funeral. She wore all black, stood straight, and nodded to everyone who came. She hugged Emily once, but said very little. Judith was always polite, but cold. They had never been close. Judith thought Emily wasn't good enough. She never said it out loud, but her looks spoke loud enough. She would comment on Emily's clothes, her job, her body, subtle things, always said with a smile. After Daniel's death, Judith started visiting more, not out of kindness, but to handle things, papers, the house, accounts. She said it was to help Emily adjust, but it felt like control. Daniel's best friend Marcus came by too. He was different, gentle, honest. He had known Daniel since med school and treated Emily like a sister. He sat with her after the funeral, talked with her about old memories, cried with her when she finally let go. "You don't have to pretend you're okay," he told her one night as they sat on the back porch. "You were there for him every single day. That counts for something." Emily nodded, but she wasn't sure what anything counted for anymore. She had questions that no one could answer. Why did Daniel grow so distant? Did he know how much she was hurting? Why didn't he leave her a letter, a note, something, anything to hold on to? Now, standing in the house they built together, she was surrounded by silence. The pictures on the wall felt like lies, smiling faces of 2 people who used to love each other, now frozen in time. The lipstick stain on his collar had cracked something wide open. She couldn't ignore it, couldn't pretend anymore. The envelope Judith brought sat on the table for hours before she opened it. Her fingers shook as she peeled it open. Inside were several folded pages, Daniel's handwriting. The first line stopped her heart. "Emily, if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and there's something you need to know." She sat down slowly, her knees weak, her breath uneven. Whatever was in those pages, she knew it would change everything, and she wasn't sure she was ready. But ready or not, the truth was coming, and Emily had already buried too many lies. Emily stared at the first page of the letter for what felt like an hour. She didn't move. Her heart was racing, her fingers gripping the paper too tightly. The words were clear, not rushed, not messy. Daniel had written it with care, but it was what he wrote that made her chest tighten. "I've lied to you, Emily. I've lied for a long time, and I'm sorry." Her eyes kept reading even though she wanted to stop. "There's something I never told you. Before we got married, there was someone else. Her name was Camille. I didn't think it mattered at the time. It ended before I met you. Or at least, I thought it ended." Emily's hands went cold. Camille. She had never heard that name. Daniel had never mentioned an ex. Never once. "Camille showed up a few months ago, said she had something to tell me. I didn't believe her at first, but then she showed me the papers. She has a child, Emily. A son. His name is Noah, and she says he's mine." Emily couldn't breathe. A child. Daniel had a child. Her mouth went dry. The letter continued. "I told her I needed time. I told her I was dying. She didn't care. She said she wasn't after money, just answers. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to hurt you, but I couldn't just ignore it either." Tears ran down Emily's face now. Silent, heavy tears. Her husband had a child with another woman and never told her. Not during the years they were trying to have a baby. Not during the miscarriages. Not even on his deathbed. "I started helping her quietly. I gave her money. I met Noah once. He looks like me. It scared me. I didn't know how to face you. I didn't know how to tell you. Emily felt like the floor was falling away beneath her. Her whole life had been based on a lie. Daniel had betrayed her, not just with another woman, but with a secret child, a life she knew nothing about. And worse, he let her believe they were in the same pain. He let her cry alone after every miscarriage while he kept this other child hidden. The next part of the letter was worse. Camille threatened to come to the hospital. I told her not to. I begged her. I told her you couldn't handle it, that it would destroy everything. She got angry, said she'd tell you herself. Emily stood up quickly. Her hands were shaking. She walked in circles around the living room, the letter still in her hand. Her mind was racing. This was the lipstick. It wasn't just cheating. It was Camille. She had come back into Daniel's life, maybe recently, maybe more than once. The memory hit her. 2 months before Daniel died, he had come home late, said he was at the pharmacy. She remembered hugging him and thinking he smelled different, a faint, flowery perfume, not his usual scent. Had Camille come to see him? Had he lied to her face that night? She grabbed her phone. She didn't know what she was doing, but she started typing his name into her email, into his texts. Anything. She found nothing. Of course not. He had always been careful. She opened the envelope again and noticed a second note. It was from Judith. It said, "I didn't know until after he passed, but I've met the boy. He is Daniel's. We did a DNA test. There's no doubt." Emily couldn't believe it. Judith had known, and she hadn't said a word. She came to the funeral. She sat beside Emily, and all the while, she knew her son had a child with another woman. Emily threw the letter onto the table. Her chest was burning. Anger, hurt, shock. It was too much. Everything was broken now. Every memory, every smile, every promise Daniel ever made. She picked up her phone again. This time, she called Marcus. "Emily, you okay?" His voice was soft. "No," she said. Her voice was shaking. "I found something. A letter. From Daniel." Marcus didn't speak for a moment. Then, "What did it say?" "He has a son, Marcus, a child, with a woman named Camille. He lied to me. All these years. He kept it from me even while I was taking care of him." There was silence on the other end. "You knew?" she asked. "No," he said quickly. "No, Emily. I swear I didn't. I would have told you." Her breath hitched. "Judith knew. She did a DNA test. She met the boy." Marcus sighed heavily. "Then she's been hiding things too. I'm sorry, Emily. I'm so sorry." Emily wiped her tears. "I need to find this woman, Camille. I need to know everything." "Are you sure?" Marcus asked. "That could open up a lot of wounds." Emily's voice hardened. "The wounds are already open. I need answers. I deserve the truth." That night, Emily didn't sleep. She looked through Daniel's files, his drawers, his documents. Eventually, she found it, a folder tucked deep in his desk. Inside, a bank statement with transfers to someone named Camille R. Jones, and an address. Her hands shook as she copied it down. In the morning, she would go find her. She would look Camille in the eye and ask the question Daniel never had the courage to answer. "Why did you come back now? And what else have you been hid?" Emily drove to the address she found in the folder. It was on the other side of town, in a small, quiet neighborhood. The houses looked older, not poor, but tired, like people lived there with heavy hearts. She sat in her car for a long time before getting out. Her hands were sweating. Her stomach was tight. She didn't know what she would say when Camille opened the door. She didn't even know what she wanted. Answers, maybe. Or maybe just to see the woman who had shared a part of Daniel's life she never knew. She knocked once, then again. The door opened slowly. A woman stood there, mid-30s, pretty, but not in a loud way. She looked surprised. Her eyes narrowed. "You must be Emily," she said. Emily nodded. "I got your name from a letter Daniel left." Camille didn't move. "You better come in." Inside, the house was clean but simple. A few toys were scattered on the floor. A boy's shoes sat by the door. Emily looked at them and felt something sharp inside her. Camille led her to the kitchen. She poured 2 glasses of water but didn't sit. "I didn't want things to be like this," she said. "I wanted to talk to you before he died, but he begged me not to." Emily's voice was low. "You knew he was married." "I did, and I stayed away, for years. But when my son started asking questions about his father, I couldn't lie anymore. He deserved to know who he was." Emily took a deep breath. "Why now?" Camille looked tired. "Because Daniel was dying, and I didn't want my son to grow up never knowing his father." Emily nodded slowly. "Did you love him?" Camille looked at her, then looked away. I thought I did, a long time ago, but he left, chose you. I moved on, until I couldn't anymore. Emily felt the heat rise in her chest. Did he love the boy? Camille swallowed. He only met him once. But yes, I think he did. He cried when he saw him. Emily's hands shook. He never told me, even after we lost 2 babies, even while I was holding him through chemo. He let me believe we were broken, that it was just us. Camille's eyes softened. I'm sorry. Truly, I didn't want to hurt you. Emily stood up. It's too late for sorry. Everything I thought I knew is gone now. She left without another word. That night, Emily couldn't sleep again. She looked through her phone, her photos, all the things she used to treasure. They felt fake now. Every smile, every vacation, every soft moment with Daniel was touched by lies. She thought about calling Marcus again but didn't. She didn't know who she could trust anymore. The next day, Judith came over uninvited. She walked in, as usual, holding a tray of food Emily didn't ask for. I know you read the letter, she said. Emily didn't answer. Judith sat down across from her. You're angry. I understand. No, you don't, Emily said quietly. You knew he had a son. You met him, and you said nothing. Judith's lips tightened. It wasn't my place. It was my marriage, Emily snapped. You watched me grieve, and you still let me believe I knew my husband. Judith stood. You think I wanted this? To find out I had a grandson I never knew? To see my son die with guilt in his heart? You think this has been easy for me? Emily shook her head. You always protected him, even in death. Judith's voice was cold. I protected you too. You don't see it yet, but you will. That child exists. He needs support. Daniel left instructions, a trust fund, a guardian. Emily's eyes widened. What? He left you in charge of the money, of Noah's future. Emily was speechless. Judith walked to the door. You can run from it, or you can do the right thing. That's your choice now. After she left, Emily sat in silence. Her head was spinning. Daniel had named her guardian of his secret son. After everything, she didn't want this. She didn't ask for it, but now it was her responsibility. Later, Marcus came over. She finally told him everything. He listened quietly, then said, I think he loved you, Emily, but he was a coward. He thought hiding it would protect you, but secrets always find a way out. Emily looked at him. Do you think I should help the boy? Marcus nodded. He's innocent. He didn't ask for any of this. I don't know if I can, she whispered. I'm still broken. Then heal first, he said. But don't let Daniel's lies turn you into someone you're not. The next few days were hard. Emily tried to go back to normal. Groceries, cleaning, walking the dog. But everything felt different. One afternoon she saw Camille again, at the grocery store, with Noah. The boy looked like Daniel. Same eyes, same shy smile. Emily didn't speak, just watched from afar. Her heart ached. Not from anger this time, but from something else. Grief, longing, maybe even guilt. This child was real, alive, and whether she liked it or not, he was a part of Daniel, and now, a part of her world too. She wasn't ready to forgive, but maybe she was ready to begin. It was raining the day Emily got the call. She was sitting on the couch, flipping through a photo album she hadn't touched in months. Pictures of her and Daniel on their wedding day, smiling like they knew nothing of the future. Pictures of vacations, birthdays, quiet Sundays. They looked happy. She looked happy. Now all of it felt like a story someone else lived. Her phone rang. It was Camille. Emily hesitated before answering. Hello. Camille's voice was shaking. I didn't know who else to call. What happened? It's Noah, Camille said. He's gone. I don't know where he is. He didn't come home from school. I've called everywhere. Emily sat up straight. Have you called the police? They're on their way. I just thought, maybe you'd want to know. Emily stood, grabbing her keys. I'm coming. By the time she got to Camille's house, there were 2 police cars in the driveway. Camille looked pale, standing on the porch, hugging herself. Emily rushed to her. Did they find him? Not yet, Camille said. Her voice was tight with panic. They're checking the neighborhood, the school, everywhere. Emily turned to the officer. Can I help? Maybe I can look around. I know this area. The officer nodded. Go ahead. We'll update you if we find anything. Emily drove around, checking parks, back alleys, streets Noah might have walked. Her heart was pounding. She didn't expect to feel this afraid, but she did. She called Marcus. I need help, she said quickly. Noah is missing. I'm on my way. They met near the school. Marcus started asking questions. Emily went to the crossing guard and some local vendors. Nobody had seen him. 2 hours passed. Then Camille called again. They found him. Emily felt a wave of relief. But there's something else, Camille said. Something you need to see. Emily rushed back to the house. Noah was sitting on the couch, wrapped in a blanket. Camille knelt beside him, holding something in her hand. A letter. Another one. Emily stared at it. It's from Daniel, Camille said. He left it with Noah, told him to open it when he turned 10. But Noah found it early and ran off because he got scared. Emily took the letter with shaking hands. She sat down slowly and opened it. It wasn't long. Dear Noah, if you're reading this, it means you're growing up fast. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it, but I want you to know something. I never planned for things to happen the way they did. I made mistakes. I hurt people I loved, including your mother, including Emily. But I want you to know that I loved you from the moment I saw you. I saw myself in you. I saw my hope. If you ever meet Emily, be kind to her. She didn't deserve any of the pain I caused. She is stronger than anyone I've ever known. She will know what to do. Trust her. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Her fingers pressed into the paper like it could give her answers. Why would he give this to Noah? She whispered. Why involve him in this mess? Camille sat beside her. Because Daniel couldn't face it. He couldn't tell the truth while he was alive, so he left it behind, like a weight for everyone else to carry. Emily looked at Noah. The boy's eyes were big and scared. He held onto his blanket, watching her carefully. She knelt in front of him. Did you run away because of the letter? He nodded slowly. I thought you'd hate me, that you'd hate my mum too. Emily's heart broke. She took his small hand gently. I don't hate you, Noah. None of this is your fault. You're just a kid. But my dad lied, he whispered. He lied to you. She nodded. He did, but I'm not angry at you, I promise. For the first time, Noah looked at her with hope in his eyes. That night, Emily stayed for dinner. She helped Camille cook. It was awkward at first, silent, but something had changed. After Noah went to bed, Camille sat at the table with her. There's something else you should know, she said. Daniel didn't just leave money for Noah. He changed his will a week before he died. He left you more than just a trust to manage. Emily frowned. What do you mean? Camille pulled out a copy of the legal papers. Emily read through it slowly. Her eyes widened. Daniel had given her full guardianship, not just of the money, but of Noah himself. If anything ever happened to Camille, the boy would go to Emily. Emily was speechless. Why would he do this? Camille looked down. I was sick last year. He was scared, thought I might not make it. He wanted to make sure Noah had someone good. Emily couldn't speak. Her chest felt tight. The twist was more than betrayal now. It was trust. It was legacy. It was a responsibility Daniel had never spoken aloud, but had planned in secret. I don't know what to say, Emily whispered. Camille placed a hand on hers. You don't have to decide now, but I wanted you to know. He chose you, even at the end. That night, Emily sat in her car before driving home. Shh. Days passed slowly after that night. Emily kept thinking about everything. Daniel's lies, the letter, the child, and her own pain. Her heart still ached, but something inside her had shifted. She wasn't just broken anymore. She was starting to see clearly. She stopped avoiding the house. Instead of hiding in the guest room, she went back into the bedroom she had shared with Daniel. At first, it hurt to sleep there, but then it began to feel like facing the truth instead of running from it. One morning, she opened all the windows and cleaned the room top to bottom. She packed away Daniel's things, not to forget him, but to stop living in his shadow. She kept a few pictures, a few notes. The rest went into boxes. Not the trash, just away, out of sight, for now. Later that week, Emily met with a lawyer. She wanted to understand everything Daniel had left behind, the trust, the guardianship, the legal ties to Noah. The lawyer explained it clearly. Daniel had given her power over the trust fund, yes, but he also put her name down as Noah's guardian if anything happened to Camille. It was a heavy responsibility. Emily wasn't even sure she wanted children anymore, but she couldn't stop thinking about Noah, his quiet eyes, the way he held the blanket, how scared he had been, how brave he was. She called Camille. I want to help, Emily said. Camille was quiet. Then she said, thank you. He needs you, whether he knows it or not. So they started slowly. Emily came by on weekends. She spent time with Noah, reading books, going to the park, helping with homework. At first it was hard. He didn't trust easily, but little by little, he opened up. One day, he handed her a drawing. It was a picture of 3 people, Camille, Emily, and himself. They were all holding hands. Emily's eyes filled with tears. She put it on her fridge at home. Healing didn't happen all at once. There were still moments when grief caught her off guard. A song, a smell, a certain light in the house at sunset, but she stopped fighting it. She let herself feel everything, the anger, the sadness, even the love. One afternoon, she invited Judith over. They hadn't spoken much since their last argument, but Emily wanted to make peace. Judith arrived, dressed as neatly as always. Emily served tea. They sat in silence for a while. Then Judith said, "I was wrong not to tell you about the child. I thought I was protecting Daniel's name, but I hurt you." Emily nodded. "Yes, you did, but I'm tired of carrying this weight alone. I think we all made mistakes." Judith looked surprised. Then she nodded slowly. "Noah is a good boy." "He is," Emily said, "and I want him to have all the love he deserves, even if it doesn't come in the way we expected." They didn't solve everything that day, but it was a start. Later, Emily stood on her porch watching Noah ride his bike down the sidewalk. Camille was nearby, laughing when he nearly tipped over. Marcus was sitting on the steps, talking to Emily, his voice calm and steady. "You're stronger than you think," he told her. Emily smiled. "I think I'm finally starting to believe that." In the months that followed, Emily didn't try to fix the past. She learned to live with it instead. She used the trust fund to set up a college account for Noah. She talked with Camille about his schooling, his hobbies, his fears. They became something like family, not perfect, but real. Emily also went back to work. She started part-time at the clinic, helping patients, being useful again. It gave her a reason to wake up in the morning. The biggest change, though, was inside her. She no longer blamed herself for Daniel's lies. She no longer saw herself as broken. She had been hurt deeply, but she survived. She rebuilt. She chose to forgive, not to excuse, but to move forward. One evening, she sat alone in the backyard, the sun setting behind the trees. She held the final letter Daniel had left. She read it again. "I failed you in so many ways, Emily, but I always knew you were stronger than me. If there's a way to find peace after all this, I believe it's through you." Emily folded the letter and placed it in her lap. She whispered into the wind, "I'm not doing this for you, Daniel. I'm doing it for me." And just like that, she felt lighter. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was living. Emily sat by the window, a warm cup of tea in her hands. Outside, Noah was playing in the yard with a kite, his laughter filling the air. Camille sat on the steps, watching him with a soft smile. The light of the setting sun made everything glow. It was a quiet moment, simple, peaceful, but to Emily, it meant everything. She looked at the photo frame on the table beside her. It was a new one, a picture of her, Camille, and Noah at the park. They all looked happy, not because life was perfect, but because they were choosing to keep going. She thought about how far she had come, from the moment she found the lipstick stain, to reading Daniel's letter, to the truth about Noah. Every step had broken something inside her, but now, those broken pieces had come together to form something stronger. Emily picked up her journal and opened to a clean page. She began to write. "Today, I saw Noah smile without fear. Camille laughed from the heart, and I felt like I belonged, not to a past full of lies, but to a present I helped build. I'm not who I was. I'm someone new, someone whole." She closed the journal and looked outside again. Noah ran up to the porch, holding the kite above his head. "Emily, did you see it fly?" She smiled and stood up. "I did. You did great." He ran to her and hugged her tightly. In that moment, she knew she had made it, not just through the grief or the betrayal or the lies, but to something better, something real. She wasn't healing because time passed. She was healing because she chose to, and that was her quiet victory.